Listening to your goals and dreams is our top priority at West Tennessee Bank. Benefit from our more than 100 years of experience and visit our Henderson branch today. West Tennessee Bank, focused on you. West Tennessee Bank is a division of Decatur County Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Next, I'd like to ask for the approval of the September minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the minutes.
All right, we have a motion to approve the minutes. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second, Mr. Jerry Love. Will there be any discussion about the minutes? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next on the agenda is our quarterly reports and our budget amendments. We'd like to start first with the school system. Superintendent Troy.
Good evening. Does everybody have their copy of the quarterly reports? Open floor to any questions that you may have. Mr. Chairman, report.
We have a motion to approve the quarterly reports.
Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I'd like the motion.
Mr. Jerry Henderson, seconding the motion. All in favor say aye. Any discussion, I'm sorry, any discussion about the quarterly reports? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mayor, we've got some budget amendments.
Next to the budget amendment, yes, sir.
And we do have budget amendments for general purpose and also food service. These came before our board at the last board meeting and it was approved by them. So just to inform you that we've already reviewed these internally with our school board this past board meeting in October. We're in November.
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
Commissioner Tim Crow makes the motion to approve. Andrea Holland seconds. Any discussion about the amendments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Next, we'd like to ask for the Highway Department, Superintendent Jerry King.
Everybody get a report, my report. I always all thought I forgot to get all of my equipment inventory back in September, so should have it done tonight. You know, I got my report.
I make the motion to approve the quarterly report. Chairman, I second.
We have a motion. We have a motion to approve for Commissioner Tim Crow and a second by Commissioner Larry Blackstock. Any discussion on the Highway Department's quarterly report? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, do you have any budget? No budget. All right, thank you. Glad to see you moving around. Next, we have the trustee report with trustee Lance Shears.
Good evening. You know everybody got a report for Henderson. That's what that was. They're a little late this time. I'll let you discuss the report and I'll have a couple of comments afterwards. Any questions?
Motion to approve the quarterly report as submitted. Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Tim Crow and a second by Commissioner Todd Lewis. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
I sure appreciate it. Thank you. Just a couple of things. I know y'all get tired of hearing me talk about things sometimes, but Okay, we've got another October behind us. Probably the best one we've had since I've been here, since I started keeping records anyway, by about 3 or 4%. End of November, second day of November, we had 55.5% taxes collected. Now, that's just unheard of across the state. Usually, there are just a few of the counties that offer a discount, but again, that helps our county out in so many ways, and I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to do that. If you look toward the bottom of page 5, and inside the little box there, usually we're used to seeing in there, if you look back to other reports, that we hope to have like 90% taxes collected. If you look on the 2020 side, we've only got 1% collected. Now that is before October 1st, so that does not include the 55% that I just told you about. But that's $57,000, $57,771 was prepayments that we've been collecting all year. The Anchor's been collecting through bank statements, bank drafts, and prepayments throughout the year. So before we even started, we had $57,000 to put toward the taxes. And if you look at the top of that page, undistributed taxes, if I'm not mistaken, that $1,600 is that's the beginning of the 2021 taxes that will come out next year. So again, that's something that y'all allowed us to do a couple of years ago. And, well, thank you.
That could have been done 50 years ago.
Well, I appreciate that. Actually, that's a fairly new law just in the last few years, but we're glad to take advantage of it, with your help. The last thing that I have is, most of you got a letter in your packet. Make sure you read that after a while, please. I appreciate that, and if you have questions about that, just give me a call. And I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Next, we have the County General with Judy Bernard, our Budget Director.
Good evening. Did everyone get a copy of the reports? They're a little bit different this time. We decided to go with computer model and try to make that work. County General is at 28.07 on expenditures. Always over because we paid the maintenance fees on computers, insurance, things like that at 100%. We divide it out about a month. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer.
I make a motion to approve the report as presented. I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Teal and a second by Commissioner Larry Blackstock. Any discussion on the report? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any budget
Do
amendment?
you have budget amendments on County General? Most of them are the Governor's Fund, the Fire Department grant, the planning consultants to pay this to the person that we retain that, and the rest of the ambulance building isn't being paid for. I second it.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Larry Blackstock and a second by Ms. Carolyn Hughes. Any discussion on the budget amendments? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next on to the solid waste report.
The solid waste expenditures is at 25.47%. Basically, like county, things paid up front, insurance and things. If you have any questions on that, I'll be glad to answer those also. Just to let you know, this report also includes the amount of revenue that's been taken in the quarter. just to let you know kind of how we're running, it's at the top, and it's at 22.81% on the revenue for that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve the solid waste report. We have a second by Mr. Andrew Hall. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any budget amendments on the solid waste?
Yes, we do. We have, 3 budget amendments for the solid waste department in the convenience centers, the recycling center, and other waste disposal. Make a motion to approve.
I say.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ann Moore and a second by Commissioner Larry Blackstock. Any discussion on the amendments? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, we do have one more, fund, the library fund has some budget amendments, from Ms. Savannah. Just small amounts, but we still need the permission to put it back into the revenue and expenditure.
Okay. We have the budget amendments for the library. Commissioner Andrew Holland makes the motion.
Chairman, I second.
Commissioner Jerry Henderson second. Any discussion about the library budget amendment? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, for Ms. Savannah Gilbert, if she would like to give us a report on the library.
Did y'all get my packet as well? Okay, perfect. So the first sheet is just a little bit of an update as to, these are the highlights for our quarterly reports. The first one is our circulation statistics for 2020 to 2021. At the next meeting, I should have the full first quarter. I did want to bring up a few great things about our library. We, out of 18 counties, we have the 3rd highest circulation. We also have the highest Wi-Fi usage, highest hotspot usage, and the 3rd highest read circulation, which is our ebooks. So that was a really great thing for our library improving this year. The next thing I wanted to let y'all know about is our 2019 to 2020 data circulation statistics. This is something that every library in Tennessee is required to do, and we just brought up a couple of the high points. The full report is in y'all's packet. But as you can see, we saw some really great increases this year. We increased our physical collection by 137%. We increased ebooks by 117%, audiobooks 177%. And even our purchases were actually increased. So we've seen some really great things this year. And we've even seen an increase in circulation, even amongst COVID, where we were closed for 6 weeks of the year. The last report that I've got down there, the full report is in your packet as well, was the support rankings for the libraries in our region, as well as the whole state. Out of 95 counties, the Chester County ranks at 82 for the amount of funding that we received. And again, that is going to be in your report as well. And then on the second page, it just shows some of our statistics to check out for the past 2 months since the last meeting. Y'all have any questions for me?
Ms. Mann, I think you're doing a great job with the library. I know there's a lot of, you should say, people from all over the county that comes out there at different times.
There are. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have the report on the fire. Chief Orwell is unable to be with us tonight, but he would like everyone to know that he's still working on multiple grants, and Also, with our mutual aid agreements with the surrounding counties around us and the cities surrounding us and with the city of Henderson, that the mutual aid agreements is important because that means that if something happens, we work together, and as long as they work together and know the protocol, that's the main thing to help save lives and help people in the county and the city. Next, we got something else that is exciting in the county. Our internet being carried throughout our county, and we have two people here with us to help us in describing that. Take any questions that y'all would like to ask, because they're getting near on phase 1, and we have Mr. Billy Gordon and Mr. Stephen Thor. Mr. Billy Thornton is with Southwest Electric, and Stephen Thor is the president of ANIS. So, I believe I got a packet out with y'all that's explaining things, but if y'all want to look through it and ask any questions, we're pleased that you're in our county and helping. You're spreading our internet to help our children and everybody. He's helping everybody. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good evening, everybody. We weren't really expecting to say much this evening, but we're happy to. So thank you, Mayor, for the time. We're here just to support the community. We're really excited to bring fiber broadband to the campus, to Chester County. Yes, has been a part of Chester County for many, many years. But now, if you didn't know already, we partnered with Southwest Electric, so we're able to expand so much faster, so much more. And we're right in the middle of our phase 1 project, which is a 5-phase project over 5 years. We're slotted to bring broadband fiber internet to all of Southwest members over that period of time. So, and Chester County currently is in a large portion of Chester County is in phase 1. So that's what we're here to tell you all about. The phase 1 area that we're in right now is going to be mainly in the Jack Street area. And so we've got about 141 miles of fiber in the air right now. And we're probably about 4 to 6 weeks from contacting folks back and start to get these rural folks connected to fast, reliable fiber internet. So we do have that packet in front of you. So if you do have any questions, I brought some flyers too, if anyone would like some flyers. We're really happy to be here.
The number also is in there to call to get signed up and where they can speed things up.
Sure, you can call our office or you can visit that website, fiber.nis.com. You can show you if you're interested, and once in the services, no pressure at all. But if you are interested in it, then go ahead and sign up on there, and when the fiber is finished and run to the houses, run to all across all the poles, we're contacting folks back, and that's what we're doing right now. So we've got a lot of demand just from the people around Chester County that really don't have access to anything. Where if they do have access to some sort of internet, it's very limited fashion, slow, expensive, satellite, things like that. So we've got a great product. It's reliable. I think we've got a very competitive cost, so it's affordable. So it's in dire need right now, especially with what's going on with everything.
I believe we have a commissioner, Russell Clayton. I'm glad I checked on what he's asked about, but
I'll do my best, Commissioner Clayton.
Okay. I'm Russell Clayton, I'm the Commissioner of 3rd District. You said there would be access on Southwest Pole.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chester County's got 3 different companies, Pickwick Electric, Lexington Electric, and Southwest. I'm on Pickwick. You throw a rock and hit Southwest. A third of my district is on Pickwick. So they're not getting the service.
Right now, the focus is just on Southwest's member territory. Now, Billy may be able to speak more on that, but we all work very closely together, so I'm sure, the electric side anyway, so I'm sure we can get some sort of access at some point in time, but I can't make any promises at this point.
See, if we're not gonna only get Southwest, which that's gonna help, but that's not near enough for Chester County because of the other facilities that provide services to them.
Correct.
And if you're not gonna put it on their poles, then down in the 40 end of my county down there, they don't have internet unless they got satellite, and they're still not gonna have internet.
Well, with the partnership with Southwest, Aeneas is able to go outside of Southwest territory and still serve areas. We serve Brownsville and areas outside of Southwest territory. So although I can't give you any promises right now because the focus just is on Southwest members, the possibility is there. I hate to disappoint you.
No, they did. You know, whenever Aeneas first come out, they said they're gonna give services to Jericho County.
Right.
And then you went to Southwest, and now they're gonna limit it to the Southwest pole to run your wire. And that's not a complete service for Jericho County. I understand where you're coming from, but I also understand how the people need it down there just as bad as they do here in town.
Absolutely, and that's why we're reaching the full folks. You know, when we first brought fiber here to Henderson, making Henderson's, you know, the first West Tennessee's first big city, you know, we were real proud of that. We did build out to some little communities around Diamond Adams and Chester County and Baker Road, and we're a small company. We couldn't build out. We didn't have the resources that we could to reach out. And now with Southwest as a partner, we're going to be able to do a lot more. And there's just so many in the community to reach all at once, especially that live on the outskirts or in rural areas. You know, we're hearing it every day, and I do understand and feel for you. And you know, so we're reaching as many folks as we can with what we have at the moment. So
I understand that. I'm just disappointed though whenever they first said it covered Chester County. My anticipation right off the bat was because we're on Pickwick, the north end of the county's on Lexington, and what are they going to do?
well, hopefully we'll be able to reach them all at some point.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I noticed on the major roads you got named, you don't have Roby Road on it. Roby Road runs from Highway 22 over to Highway 100.
Is that the road you live on?
No, but I live on Cash Road.
I'm teasing.
I live on Cash
No, depending on where you are, if you look, the whole network was pre-designed. So you could literally have a road that folks would be served up until a certain point, but then the last person on the road may not be able to serve until we extend over to a new area. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's still a limitation for distance, you know, so we have to serve from centralized fiber cabinets. So that may be a case. You could send us the address and the road, and I'll be happy to go out and look at it for you. Just to see.
It's in Jackson Creek.
Just outside.
It's east of Jackson.
It runs to Highway 22.
Far east.
Runs to Highway 22 there at Center Point over the end.
Yeah, I know.
All back to 100, I'm telling you, Tom.
Yeah, there are boundaries for this initial phase. So if you have a card or something, I can show you a map of where those kind of barriers are as of right now.
Anyone else have any more questions?
I appreciate y'all's time, so thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have the approval of the Chester County Hazard Mitigation Plan. This plan is what we adopt this resolution each year. This is a multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan which we recognize the responsibility to prevent, prepare, respond, and recover for major disasters and other emergencies that comes in our county. And Mr. Johnny Ferris is overseeing this, and he had written this and committed that this is for saving lives and reducing injuries and reducing financial loss due to natural and man-made events like tornadoes, storms and stuff. And we just need to adopt this resolution and get it in recorded.
Make motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve, Commissioner Al McKinnon.
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner John Garner. Any more discussion on this? I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but did I put one in each one of his packet? All right, well, thank you. If it be any questions on this? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you. Next on the agenda, discuss the Planning Commission. We have Commissioner Barry Smith to explain and discuss.
Got a few different things to discuss tonight about the Planning Commission. Good news, we're moving right along. I actually made some notes. I'm going to read a little of this. Several years ago now, we as a county commission were asked by our constituents to do something about the substandard housing and unsanitary conditions that had popped up in several places in Chester County. We asked the state agencies for help and information about what we could do to prevent the growth of these areas. And after a lot of questions and confusion about what to do, the Planning Commission was formed. I've been a member of the Planning Commission since September 2019, and we have met every month since then. Mr. Tom Skehan with the Southwest Tennessee Development District has met with us consistently since that time and has provided guidance and information and printouts that we have needed. The Planning Commission we have had public commission hearings on the land use map, a major road plan, the zoning resolution, and subdivision regulations, and each of those has been brought to the county commission and has been approved. So we are moving right along with this. We are presenting tonight a proposed fee structure, and that is in your packet. It starts out the following. It's based on the City of Henderson's website, frequently asked questions. Why do I need a building permit at the top? It's four sheets. This outlines the fees, and these are the same fees that the city collects. And we thought as a planning commission that it would be best to be consistent throughout the county. The city and the county would have the same building permit fees and the same fines, fees, the permits and so forth. Everything would be the same amount. So it would be easy to figure. You wouldn't have to know two sets of numbers. So we are presenting tonight this proposed fee structure that we are now eligible to collect. These will be the fees that we collect when we establish the office here in the county to enforce our property maintenance code and the maps, plans, resolutions, and regulations that we have approved. These fees are what the city is currently collecting, and this will make it easier for contractors to tell someone what the permits for the same, to tell them what they would be. A list of those fees are included. The Planning Commission is requesting that the County Commission approve this fee structure for us to collect.
Can I receive?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion to accept the fee structure. Can we get a second? I'll second. We have a second from Commissioner Mike Alexander. Any questions or discussion on this? Yes, sir.
Is this gonna help these substandard houses come in? Because they're still coming here. I mean, nothing slowed down until y'all started making, nothing has changed, okay?
Okay.
When we're gonna stop?
Yeah, well, that's why we're moving as fast as we are, because as soon as we can get someone out there enforcing this, we can stop it.
I thought we were doing last year.
Well, it's taken this long to get it done, to go through all the public hearings and so forth to adopt these regulations that we've got. And that's why I keep bringing it back to y'all, because we're moving fast.
Would there be any more questions?
What part of the fees? The number, the fees, how much are the fees?
I didn't hear her.
How much of the fees? I read, these are the same fees that we presented the other night. You were there at that meeting, the planning commission meeting. These are the same type of fees that we presented then.
When we didn't over there, they passed a law that you can't raise the price of fees because of COVID-19, while the pandemic's going on. I thought those fees were on the
Well, we're not raising any. We're just adopting fees. We haven't had any fees to raise before. And according to the Southwest Development District, we're in good shape right here.
governor passed a law that fees can't be raised or
This is the same fees and the permits that is set now and is collected, that people has to pay online now, that we do not, all except in the city of Henderson. These permits and fees for building permits and electrical permits is paid online, purchased online, if not purchased in another county. And it's being the same fee.
Yeah.
We're just adopting it and to where we can collect it in our county instead of it being collected in online in Nashville.
Where would they collect it, Clark's office?
That's what we're speaking to ask later. We're
working
in the process.
We'll get to that.
But right now, if we have a motion and a second to approve this fee structure, is there any more discussion about the fee structure? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
But we're not spending money, but we are adopting fees. I would say yes, I think we need to.
This is going over to a roll call vote since it will be eventually fees collected in the county.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Love.
Yes.
Larry Blackstock. Al McKinnon.
Yeah.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Ann Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Clayton.
Yes.
Jerry Emerson.
Yes.
Sandra Hires.
Yes.
Joseph Valero.
Yes.
Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander. John Welch. Todd Lewis.
Yes.
17-4, 1 absent.
Thank you. And some of us recently met with Mr. Tim Planner with the state Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance about the number of housing permits to get some information on an estimate of what we can expect to collect to help pay for our inspector/code enforcement officer. It was estimated that permits and fees the first year would be approximately $25,000 to $30,000, and it would increase thereafter. We are asking this body to, we know this was going to cost us something when we started. And it's sort of going to have pay for itself to get started. But we are asking that this body now approve a salary amount and allow us to interview people to bring a name back to you, possibly as early as January, for approval. We will need, when we get this person, salary, benefits, office space, and I think the mayor knows where that might be, mileage, or in an automobile provided. This is just the cost of having this. And the county and the planning commission will not meet as often as we've met, because we only meet then to review things and hear about zoning requests and so forth, and alterations. So we need the commission's approval to go ahead able to interview and bring a name to you is a person that we could hire as possibly as early as the first of the year, the first few months of the year, and go out and start being our enforcement officer.
Yes,
This
sir.
person be a certified building inspector?
We hope so.
Yes.
You go advertise the salary now, so.
Yes, that's what we're needing to get a dollar amount that we could advertise,
It
to
was-
get interest.
It was suggested by Mr. Planner to possibly leave $48,000 or $50,000 to start. But that's the will of this group.
That's something we've talked about for a long time, too.
This person will be enforcing the maintenance code and all our zoning resolution and subdivision regulations, and collecting all the permits.
This person in our minds are hoped to be a multi-purpose person. He's gonna have to do his own record keeping at first. He'll also be the one to help him do the permits. And he will also be the one to go do the inspections. I would like to train with him a person in our budget department or my assistant to help and maybe possibly at first helping him on the permits. Because we would be doing them all in-house, nothing would be sent to the state. We would have to have good record keeping and all, which we talked with Mr. Planner about this, and he said it would be fine. We'd have to advertise it that way. That's why getting a person already licensed in this position and already being qualified and knowing what to do and having a certain amount of years experience is the reason he said that possibly having that high of a salary. That way we would already have an experienced person. So that's why we're asking him possibly advertise for that amount of income.
We're looking at possibly getting a vehicle or waiting and paying so much mileage or what have you, what would be the best route to go?
Well, that would need to be negotiable, but our emergency management person has a vehicle coming, which the county already owns that. I was going to plan to start driving it, but I think that would be a good code enforcement vehicle. It's already the white Chevrolet, four-wheel drive, and I think that would be good. I might be speaking out of turn, but I personally think that would be a good vehicle for the codes.
I agree, I think that's a better vehicle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know this will all need to be worked out, but if y'all would, if the commission would allow the planning commission to write up the requirements for this person and advertise it, and even select the person to bring back to you with his qualifications. I think that would be well for the county.
I'll make it, I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
We set the salary.
It's to set the salary, to say allow.
48,000.
48,000. We have a motion by Al McKinnon and a second by, I forgot who, Mr. Jackie Butler. Yes, ma'am.
We please include the salary plus benefits, matching social security, insurance, whatever that is.
Salary plus benefits, if that.
And that's vehicle.
Yeah. Advertising that good, the benefits, what, I'm speaking, which we just made the motion in a second, so I'll just leave it at that.
Needs to be qualified building inspector.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Mr. Planner, he is over all the inspectors and everything over the whole state, and he will know, and he is willing to work with us. he said he'd come back to help us at any time, for the selection. And also the head inspector in the city of Jackson said he would be willing to help us, on the qualifications, because when they had, Mayor Conger come in, they cut that department and they laid off 3 qualified inspectors, he told me. They have like, I think they had like 8 inspectors in their city. And so he said it wouldn't be no problem to get a qualified person. But now, whether one lives in Chester County or he might move to Chester County, that. But we advertised it and asked for the qualifications and we could see what we get. Yes, sir.
Can we require to live in Chester County?
We haven't specified that.
Within,
That's up to y'all.
well, right, in our previous inspectors that inspected our homes being built in Chester County, none of them has lived in Chester County. One person lived in Henderson County, the next one lived in Hardeman County, and that's the one we're using now, the one in Hardeman County. But we could make it eventually, say within a year, he lived in our county. I think that would be good. But I mean, to move here and just get started, I don't know. But I think it would be good for eventually to ask the person to live in Chester County. I think that would be fair.
You know, that's something that we can discuss with the candidate. I'm just gonna be honest with you, I think you're gonna be hard to get somebody that's fully certified with what we want to do. We're never gonna solve these problems that you brought before, Mr. Kennedy, tonight, unless we have our own people. We cannot depend on the state to do our job. We cannot depend on everybody else to do the problem. We've got to have our own person. And I'll be honest with you, I think we will be very hard to find somebody at $48,000. I think it will be impossible to get somebody to move it. I'm a firm believer people in this country. All I'm asking is as the planning commission, don't tie our hands so much. Give us a little leeway, okay? I think we're going to have to negotiate the price a little bit more, and I think we may have to negotiate the living arrangements. I'm with you 100%. I think people should be there. But these people make bigger money than that to do these jobs when they're certified. And if we're just hiring me to do it, then we got a problem. So we need to hire somebody smart knows how to do it. And I think just all I'm asking is just don't tie our hands so much on a lot of conditions that we can't get somebody qualified to do it. And we'll never be able to solve those problems like you addressed tonight. Because I agree with you, those problems need to be addressed.
I think we started at 48, you got to go up a little bit, to get the right person.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor now and a second. Is there any more discussion? Any money, so we need roll call? Well, roll call.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Love. Larry Blackstock.
Yeah.
Al McKinnon.
Yeah.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Ann Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Clayton.
Yes.
Jerry Emerson.
Yeah.
Sandra Hire.
Yes.
Joseph Valero.
Yes.
Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
John Welch. Todd Lewis.
Yes.
1741 absent.
Thank you, and there's one more thing, for the planning commission. The members of the planning commission, and there are myself and 3 others in here, Jackie and Ann and Tim, that have been meeting, and they've most all been faithful to come all the time to these meetings. But this is a committee. We have 5 people who are not commissioners that are on that planning commission, the committee, or whatever you want to call it. But we've been meeting as many times as we have, well over a year now, and we have, of course, we're not a committee that gets paid anything. But I'm asking if for the future that we pay the standard commission or committee fees to the people who are present and sign the list or attend the meetings to get some sort of compensation for attending these meetings, because this is a committee that's going to last now. It's going to have to be here for a long time, because everybody's going to be coming back asking for variances, exceptions, and all that. We will have to approve a lot of things, whoever's on the commission, that planning commission will have to meet on a regular basis. Probably won't be monthly, but it'll probably be every other month, or quarterly at least. But I think we ought to pay everybody that meets from here on.
I'm willing to make a motion to do that. Same pay as commissioner.
Same things.
Yes.
I second that.
Okay, everybody understand what we're saying? Because already there's been a year invested with all the commissioners and the people. Well, really, we're in our second year. We've been about a year and a half now, meeting every month. And it is a lot to comprehend because there's so much in it. The city has already been doing it for years now, and they are willing to help us some. And I think that's a good thing for us to be paid, or everyone to be paid as a meeting. So we have a motion and a second. We have a motion by Commissioner Larry Blackstock and a second by Commissioner Johnny Garner. This needs to be roll call also.
So the committee be cycling people through, people that are on the commission?
Yes, it's staggered terms.
Mr. Carney knows the rest of the whole committee, we probably vote against it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Does any more discussion need to be on this topic or before we do a roll call? Okay.
When they come out and do these inspections, does it cost every time they come out?
No, when you buy your permit, you will be paying for the only reason it would cost you again is if he has to come back. The initial fee should be paid all at first with the initial building permit, if it's on a house. Now, the electrical permit and the groundwater or septic permit would be separate.
So if he fails it, you have to pay again, is that right?
Yes, that's all explained in the package here. But yes, if he had to come back, there would be an additional fee. He will, more than likely, the inspector will tell what needs to be done and then he'd come back and make sure that it's corrected.
That won't be a full permit fee again, will it?
It's usually not, I can't remember, it seems like it's $30.
Re-inspection fee.
Yeah.
$50.
25.
Yeah, re-inspection.
Yes. But most of the builders, they know that already now. The ones that come in buy us building permits and electric permits, they pretty well know that. And an individual, he's allowed to build one every 2 years. So, and usually one that, there is a few of them that lives in them 2 years and sell them, and they might not have a builder contractor's license. But in this case, that's the reason the inspector needs to be knowledgeable more to explain everything to him. So if we could, we have the motion in a second, we go with the roll call.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Lowe.
Yes.
Larry Blackstock.
Yes.
Al McKinnon.
Yes.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Dan Moore. Okay, abstain. Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Blake.
Yes.
You're on the committee? All right, we're going to abstain on Jackie, I'm sorry, go back up. Russell Blake.
Yes.
Jerry Henderson.
Yes.
Sandra Hart.
Yes.
Joseph Valero.
Yes.
Barry, you're on the committee. Tim's on the committee. Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
John Wells. Todd Lewis.
Yes.
13, 4, 4, abstain, 1 absent. Absolutely.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, just one more thing, planning commission meets tomorrow night at 6 upstairs in the courthouse. Do you want to be there? If you got any questions, see what's going on, we'll be there tomorrow night.
All right, next on the agenda, we have the approval of the private act, which each one of you has the private act. This is for the solid waste disposal fee, which will be collected by the trustee's office and added to our property tax notice. And this also has one sentence in it that is added that I don't know if everybody has read our private act. Would y'all like me to read it, or is everyone already read it?
Yes.
Yeah, you want me to read it, or just we ready to vote on it?
Or
Okay.
you may want to read it. Under section 2, it says that, would you read that in section 2?
Okay. I tell you what, I'll just start and read the whole thing. Chester County Private Act, Solid Waste Disposal Fee. This is section 1. Pursuant to the authority of counties to impose and collect a solid waste disposal fee in accordance with Tennessee Code Antidote, Title 68, Chapter 211, Part 8. The solid waste disposal fee is assessed for the receipt of solid waste disposal services in the Chester County. May be collected annually with the county property tax. And any solid waste disposal fee collected in accordance with this act shall be described and appear separately from the county property tax on the tax notice. Section 2. The solid waste disposal fee authorized by this act shall be subject to same penalty and interest as delinquent property taxes, if not paid within 30 days after the notice of such fee is mailed. The unpaid fee, penalty, interest, and cost shall be a lien on the real estate and the improvements thereon upon filing of a notice with the office of the Register of Deeds of Chester County. Such lien shall be in favor of Chester County municipality for special assessments, and any valid lien, right, or interest in such property duly recorded or duly perfected by filing prior to the filing of such notice. The notice shall identify the debtor, owner of record of the real property, contain the property address, describe the property sufficiently to identify it, and recite the amount of the obligation secured by the lien. No sale or transfer, including but not limited to a transfer to an heir at law, assignee, or legate of such real property may be legally closed and recorded until the lien has been satisfied. The same shall apply if the property is to be made the subject of a contract of sale. Upon the sale or transfer of the real property, the successors or assigns shall be required to withhold a sufficient amount of the purchase money to cover the amount of the fees, interest, penalty, and cost. Chester County may collect the delinquent fees, penalty, interest, cost through an action for debt filed in any court of competent jurisdiction. Section 3. This act shall have no effect unless it is approved by 2/3 vote of the legislative body of Chester County. Its approval or non-approval shall be proclaimed by the presiding officer and of the legislative body and certified to the Secretary of State. Section 4. For the purpose of approving or rejecting the provisions of this act, it shall be effective upon becoming a law, the public welfare requiring it. For all other purposes, it shall become effective as provided in Section 3. So if any questions right here, Mr. Marty wrote this up, we can direct them to.
It says 30 days after you receive the notice.
Right.
You have, okay, what's the actual due date? I mean, when you send a notice to that?
Like September.
Okay, Okay, so this will be due in October, is that correct?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yes.
Do you send the tax notice out the same time every year?
A lot of times we don't pay the taxes back the first year.
Months on.
So, will it be after you pay your taxes, or will it be after the notice? So it says after the notice, but
Would it be better if it said these are overdue the same time property taxes are overdue?
That's where I'm headed.
We can say that.
It's confusing the way it is.
Yes.
It makes it sound like it would be due at the end of February with property taxes. Wouldn't that be better?
Mr. Marty, that wouldn't be any trouble to change, would it?
No, I think that'd be fine.
To word it as, if not paid within the 30 days after the final date of the property due?
Well, I think what you're saying is it shall be treated delinquent the same as property tax.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which would be in February.
Correct.
What you do if you pay it, get that 2% early, go ahead and pay the whole thing.
Yeah.
Even though they ain't better year, you got $3 bucks, right? But it don't make any difference, that's what I'll do, I pay all mine one time.
But there won't be a discount on the fee.
yeah, you won't get your 2% on the fee. Or whatever it is.
All right, if that being stated that will be changed, do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
We have a motion to approve the solid waste disposal fee. And we have a second by Mr. Russell Clayton.
Let me ask you one question.
Yes, sir.
Might not have been following along, but did the version that you read and the one you're looking at had the provision at the end of section 1 about the tax exempt people? It did?
I am sorry. I had them both right here. There is one sentence. I had my original one, and my mistake. Mr. Marty sent me a new revised one that it did have one sentence in it in section 1. Right here with it. This sentence in the section 1, it says, Chester County may also collect solid waste disposal fee annually from property owners who are exempt from paying property taxes and may send a separate notice as necessary to collect the solid waste fee annually from property owners who are exempt from paying property taxes.
That includes churches.
That includes churches and buildings and all, which has a use for the solid waste. Including like a home owned by the college or church. If they would have they would still be charged the fee, like parsonage and stuff.
What about like a veteran that is exempt from paying property tax? That would include him, right?
Yes, right at the moment, we can, sir.
Now that's something we've talked about since day one, and we still do not have any kind of leeway or allowance for tax relief recipients. So I know the community joint meeting we had back in June, I think, budget committee and the solid waste committee, we talked about that, and we moved on. So at this point, as far as I'm aware, there is no exceptions, nothing to consider actually recipients, including veterans, elderly, disabled.
And we had talked about that, but the way you read it,
Right. It's not in there because we have not discussed it enough or had voted on it, so.
I'd like to mention this also. This would be something we might could mention to Southwest, because they have an assistance program for ones like that, and we might could ask if they would like to maybe add the solid waste fee, because they have a gas assistance and electric assistance. That would be something that I could mention to them also.
About the Southwest Cares program.
The Southwest Human Resource, they have a program for lower assistance, like for helping ones through the winter with their bills. I would like to mention, since it's going to be a year, there might be time they can add it to their programs and we could get it done for that. But I mean, that would have nothing to do with what we need to send to the state to get approved.
so what you all are about to vote on would be what you've got in your hand as amended by the suggestion tonight. So that if you pass it, we won't have to vote again. It'll be, we'll do the amended version, but you will have already voted on it to be due at the time the property taxes are due.
Correct.
Is everybody of the understanding that we are creating a new fee for the citizens of this county? Another new fee that is subject to going up again, just like we raised the property taxes, like we raised the vehicle registration. It's another revenue stream that this body is going to be responsible and own. We're taxing our citizens. Because we're not exploring the alternatives. You've seen our budgets, we bailed out on them. You understand that, don't you?
Yes, we are having to tax, I'm sorry about this, but we're having to tax or put a fee. It's really not tax, it's a fee, because it's something that everyone uses. And we're working on ways to possibly even, already we're trying to work on ways to reduce that. We got ideas in the works that we'll be talking about in the future. Because I hate to raise anything and put anything more on our citizens. But being that, I think we're well better off than most other counties. That being said, we'll get back to the thing on hand about sending our disposal fee into the state. We have a motion by Ms. Carolyn Higgins and a second by, I don't remember who. Mr. Russell Clayton. We need to send this to the state and get it approved at their first legislation in January, as soon as possible. And get it, when we get it back, we still will be 6 to 9 months before we ever start collecting. And if we might can, it's according to how things go at that time, we'll have a few other commission meetings before this, and hopefully we'll work on trying to either reduce the fee or try to do better, at least give everyone the same option for the service to be able to dispose of their garbage and help us, if they can reduce the consumption through recycling, that would eventually help, which we're working on ways to help do that. Being that, do we need a roll call? Yes.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Lowe. Larry Blackstock.
Yeah.
Al McKinney.
No.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Dan Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Clayton.
Yes.
Jerry Emerson.
Yes.
Sandra Hires.
Yes.
Joseph Valero.
No.
Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yeah.
John Welch. Todd Lewis.
Yes.
14-4, motion carried.
All right. We have a motion carried, and we will try to get this written up and get it to our state to get processed. Next on the agenda, we have other business, which, give me just a second. I've got a few little updates I'd like to tell us about real quick. The ambulance building, they have moved in their ambulance building, and they really enjoy the new building and where it is. They are working also on the brick on the side. They've already worked on it twice, and they are going to work on it one more time. And they, if everyone would go by there and view the north side of the building, that's the only thing that we were unsatisfied, or was when they moved in, and we still have the retainage for them, but they're working to try to get it agreed that we will accept it. Also, I received an email. I didn't know it. I got an email, a congratulations email from the State Department of Environment and Conservation. Our Chester County Recycling got the 2020 Tennessee Recycler of the Year Award. And that, Mr. Danny Bernard and Miss Amber, we appreciate the job y'all doing, and especially in these times of COVID and extra work. We know it means a lot to say that we're doing better than 90-something other counties, and we think we're doing bad. So, can you imagine what the other counties are facing and going through? Also, I'd like to announce our third annual Christmas tree lighting is Thursday, December the 3rd at 5:30 on the courthouse lawn, and following will be the parade. Next, also Miss Emily Rushing with the Chester County Health Department wanted me to notify everyone and tell them they're giving free health flu shots. The health department is on Thursday, November the 19th. This is coming Thursday from 11 to 2 at the Henderson Farmers Market. And I believe they're going to have it to where if you don't even want to get out of the vehicle, you can just drive through and get the flu shot. Also on the agenda here, I did pass over the agreement with the Chester County Rescue Squad. I think I had the lease agreement in there. This is just extending their same, really their agreement that they had in the other building, but they're moving into the old EMS building. And they are a good part of our county. They help our sheriff's department, our EMS and everything. They went through training this last few years. They have gotten well qualified in a lot of things. I believe every one of them on the committee did the, I forgot how many hours of class, but they all got qualified, and they will be a great asset for our county. So I think this is a good thing to lease them that building, and they're going to upkeep it and everything. And this agreement is for 20 years, for $1 a year, because they provide us a service for the county. Now, they do go around and ask for donations. Usually they have pictures, but I know if you would like to give, it would be a great thing because they have put in a lot of time, and they've worked with the hospital, and a lot of them has done medical training and all kinds of stuff. They might be one to save some lives on the highway because they have got in with the radios, and since they are taking over the building, they're going to upkeep the tower and let us use it, and the school system has a part in that tower also to help with the buses, and that all is going to be left there right at the moment to help the ambulance department with Jackson General, and it'll also help our school system. And I think there'll be a great asset there in the building for us.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the agreement of Chester County Rescue Squad.
We have a motion to approve the agreement, Ms. Andrea Holland, and a second by Commissioner Allen Kenneth. Any discussion on this? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Mr. Chairman, are there any plans for the old building?
Well, I'm getting to that. Next, in the other business, our historian, Mr. James Bright, he has asked if the county would, he has been our historian, I believe, since 2016. He's collected all kinds of pictures, he's talked to people, and I know a lot of people here might not know that he's our historian, but he is our county historian. He's got a lot of artifacts he needs to preserve, and he has been asked this next year by the senior citizens, hopefully by the time it comes around, since our senior citizens won the brain games for the state, Henderson, Chester County is going to host the brain games this year. And they have asked the historian, Mr. James Bright, to give a display and some history of Chester County. So we have time, if any of y'all have any old pictures and some family heritage and all of the original roots from years ago, Mr. Bright would be a good one to tell, and especially if you have pictures. He has got a lot. He is asking the commission to allow him to have a computer with Windows and PowerPoint and a photo software for his computer. He is asking for a scanner, a printer, and a camera with lens on it. And also provide him with a room to keep these and store them where people could come and talk to him and tell him about the history of Chester County as far as your family and all. But to help him get started and possibly have a place to keep all this, I was wanting a section of the old rescue squad to be allowed to be fixed up for his office. Now, that being said, he won't need the whole thing right now, and we was going to use possibly the last bay for storage. But he is asking for possibly around $5,000 a total for all this. But we would also, the building, since they have moved out, it needs some maintenance. It needs repainting and touched up. And Ralph has looked at it. Ralph said he can do it all. I guess everyone knows Ralph. He wants to do it all too. But he would do it at the lowest cost and the building be clean. And I think that would be a good thing to have the historian office there. Being that, I'd like to ask for a motion for $5,000 to purchase these articles for the historian and fix up that building.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Al McKinnon and a second by,
I don't know if it includes the painting.
sir?
The $5,000 includes the painting.
Yes,
Okay.
I think.
I'll second it.
Well, I'm not sure that would get the payment. But he would get all he needs and Ralph said he'd do the rest, so I don't know what amount Ralph would need, but,
We're out, you bid on what you do.
okay. We can get this and be working on the building for our next meeting, get a price from Ralph on what it, or if it's enough, we put it out to bid. I don't think it'd be that much to do that building though.
We work with the county, it's quiet, we work with the county, it's quiet.
Yeah.
Does he do stuff while he's working with the county, or is he doing it out of what?
Well, if he bids it, it'd be him doing it now, but otherwise, he usually just works on things for the county.
I don't think we can do it.
County project.
We got a county employee, the other big guy.
Well, we can.
Yes, as long as everything's done legal and they're paid like you do anybody else. And it's not on county time. And everyone's over there at.
County.
We're working on it.
We can.
Yeah. What do you think you need?
I think it's a bad precedent, so.
We'll put that bid out for the painting, we'll put it out for bid, for the painting on the building and the cleaning.
You don't think you can do it while he's working for the county? Save that money?
Well, that's what I was thinking, but,
I don't see why he couldn't.
you can do that. So we'll just have him do it as an employee and furnishing the materials. Is that agreeable with everyone?
Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion and a second for $5,000 for the historian. We're going to take roll call. Okay.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Lowe.
Yeah.
Larry Blackstock.
Yeah.
Al McKinnon.
Yeah.
Andrew Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Dan Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Blake. Jerry Henderson.
Yes.
Sandra Hines.
Yes.
Joseph Valero.
Yes.
Barry Smith. Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
John Wells. Todd Lewis.
Yes.
1741.
Thank you on that. One last thing for me on the other, I was also sent another congratulations from the Executive Director of Southwest Development District on our unemployment rate in Chester County. We had the lowest, I believe, Bobby, am I correct? We have the lowest unemployment rate in West Tennessee, Chester County. And I think we have either the 4th or 7th in the state. So he sent congratulations to Chester County because our unemployment is staying in good shape. Seeing that, was there any other business from anyone before we get to the notaries? Yes.
On Channel 7 tonight, we've got 19 new cases on COVID in Chester County. We've got over 100 active cases going right now, which is a bunch for our small county. I would recommend that you pass an ordinance require masks. You're the man that can do it.
I have been approached about that from different ways. Matter of fact, I got 2 calls today. One asked to have a mask mandate, and the other asked not to because he said he could not wear a mask. And he said he just can't breathe anymore. But I caught on in talking to him, and I asked him, I said, well, could you not, if you go to the grocery store, could you not wear one long enough to go in and get your groceries and come out? He said, yeah. He said, I could do that. I said, well, that would be considerate of everyone in there.
Right.
And I said, if the owner of the grocery store put it on the window or the door that asked you to wear it, he said, yes, I would. So I was going later this week to talk to our 2 grocery stores in the county and ask them, because he specifically stated one of them, and because in my opinion, I would personally wear a mask, and I would recommend that everyone else does to be considerate of everyone else. But just like the few cases that wouldn't and can't wear it, even though they best for them to stay at home, and hopefully that we all don't get to that point that we had to stay home. But I am going to put out later in this week that I would really appreciate people being considerate of everyone else and recommend them highly to wear masks if they go out in public with people. But now, walking down the street and nobody around you, that would be up to you, I think, whether if you wanted to wear one or not. But if you get around people and all, I think you need to be considerate and have it with you. And that's the way I... That's what I plan to do, is strongly urge that people wear one if they're going to be around any people.
But if you don't make a mandate, they're still not going to wear them. Most people are not.
Well, I think in Chester County, from the statistics that they show, even though that's what I did before, and all the other counties around it, that we just urge that people do wear them. Our statistics, ours, I believe Chester County was better than some of them that had the mask mandate. I ain't saying that it's because people is real considerate, but most of the time, if you can remind people that a business is asking you to, they would do it. I mean, you get a very few it's not going to do it even if you make a mandate. And we've got no way to enforce it, or if we do enforce it, it's going to cause controversy. I mean, it's not going to be, I think it'd be better to recommend, and the people that's going to wear it, they're going to wear it anyway, and they're going to be considerate of people. We don't want our death rate to go up. We sure don't want that. If you know that you're going to be around seniors, I think you need to wear them. That lets me remind me of something else. If anyone is going to the nursing home, our county through the grant has purchased iPads, and we know you cannot go in and visit face to face with your loved one in their nursing home, but we're going to have it through the holidays where you can go and FaceTime them, or you can do it. You can go there and you will be able to check out your iPads at the nursing home or the assisted living. We purchased enough possibly that can happen. And because I've got some calls about people saying they couldn't visit their loved ones or couldn't even see them. They couldn't get up and even bring them to the window. So I thought this would be a good thing to have iPads and let them see them and talk to them. But this is going to take cooperation with the nursing home because they have to carry it to the individual's room and get it on with them while the other one is either in that room or close around, because we'll be using the email of the nursing home and the Wi-Fi. So, but if you're wanting to go visit your loved ones, you will be able to do it and see them. Might be on the screen, but at least you'll be able to see them.
I lost a cousin last week due to that in Madison County. He lived here in Chester County. And not just family could see him go on a
we have had these for a week or so, but we're getting them registered for the county, and we had to ask someone else to do it, and that way people just won't walk off with them, they'll be registered for the county.
Like Gary said, it's really climbed, and a lot of the counties around us, and Chester County's really climbed in the last week or so. And like 17, 19, 20, and their death rate is climbed. We're around 19 or 20 now.
I would like to ask Troy how many of the school system actually are positive.
Right now, with the Department of Health's data set, 15 in Chester County, school-age kids. Don't know if they all attend Chester County schools. It just means those that are age 5 to 18 that live in the county. Some we know in the past have been homeschooled. Some go to private schools. But the actual count on the data set from the health department is 15. And then for the county-wide is 105 that are active right now.
So how many's in quarantine?
Excuse me?
How many's in quarantine?
Well, now the quarantine would be based on how many were within that 6-foot distance for a total of 15 minutes. That number varies based on the class age, the amount of other, like for example, if they ride a school bus, that usually adds a few more because of the seating arrangements. So the quarantine situations are quite large in certain classes and schools based on how many kids are in that area. However, we have not had except but one, and that's still a possibility, of any student who's gone quarantine that has ended up active as a COVID case. I've got 2 at home right now, waiting out their time in jail. They'll be done, one will be done Thursday, another will be done this weekend. But both of my kids are quarantined because of their school contacts, but have not had any symptoms at all. We just gotta, as a school district, we gotta have families remembering that these masks and our social distancing are not just rules to apply at school. Because what we've learned in some of our contacts, that the reason for the increase lately, Halloween parties, events outside of the school day that people are participating in and not respecting the social distancing, not following good hygiene practices. And but if they're in school, we've done a really good job of keeping students and staff healthy, but we still have cases to deal with.
There's no telling how bad it's going to be in January.
You never know. I'm not the prophet Elijah, so I can't predict, brother.
And I
There's
did,
a guy we need to work on in virtual training out in Miami County, too.
It'll dry up, that's a Democrat.
Before we get to the internet, it'll dry up.
Yeah, it'll die down.
all right. Well, next on the agenda, we have the approval of the notaries.
Yes, sir, we have 4. Pamela D. Croom, Franklin R. Bell, Andrea Holland, and Doreen K. Groff.
Those are first, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, sir.
We have a motion to approve, Mr. Johnny Garner, and a second by Mr. Tim Crow. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you. I'm sorry about being so lengthy, but I think we got a lot accomplished. And thank you, and do I hear a motion for the...
No move, brother.
We have a motion and all in favor, stand up.